Howdy folks, it is Diecastbuffet here again. It is time for, unfortunately, one of the final Kurt Busch paint schemes ever to be made, and it's the 2022 Moneyline Kurt Busch Toyota Camry. Now, we know the Kansas win's going to get made. I want to say maybe one of the McDonald's cars might get made. Who knows, but it's going to be a bittersweet review, guys, because as a huge Kurt Busch fan, he's one of my favorite drivers, always has been. And I tell you what, it's been a very bittersweet season. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this box opened up. Alrighty, folks, right out of the good old package, and here we go. Of course, this epic diecast is brought to you by our friends over there at Circle B Diecast, where I picked this one up. You can too with the promo code down below. Make sure to check that out. You could save on shipping for your next diecast haul. Believe me, with the diecast prices going up everywhere, saving as much as you can is extremely important. So let's go ahead and dive into this review, guys. So you got the Moneyline paint scheme. If you remember, this was on Brad Keselowski's car in 2021. They were a Penske partner for years. And this is a very different version of that paint scheme. I'll be honest, off the rip, I much prefer the 2021 Brad Keselowski paint scheme. I just love that three-tier, kind of a staggered paint scheme. This one's very different. It's not a bad paint scheme, but that's just my honest opinion right off the bat. You got Kurt Busch right there. Got the Moneyline. I'm not sure if it's like a card, a bank. I have no idea, but we're just going to consider it a very financial and wealthy cat. So you go to the front of the car here. You kind of have like this very interesting front fascia to this car. It's kind of aggressive, kind of mean, and it looks pretty cool. The way the lines go around the headlights, and it goes to the Toyota front badge and that little, I don't know what you'd call that, the bicycle bar, if you will. It looks pretty cool. You can see the Toyota logo is a little bit crooked. The 45 right there, Sudoku, Camry, Toyota. Go to the left side of this diecast, and it's crazy to think that Kurt Busch is retired from full-time racing. It just doesn't, I don't know, man. I expected this guy to retire after like 2019. Right, because it was always, his deal's up. Is he going to come back next year? Then he would come back for 1 year. And it's always his deal up. He's going to come back next year. Then he would come back for another one. And it was like 3 or 4 years of that kind of being a very consistent rumor. And because of the next-gen car kind of instigating the concussion, it's just sad, man. It really is. Got the Cup Series right there. Goodyear, number 45. Moneyline. I do like how the money line's up here, and they didn't just put it on the side like the auto owner's insurance car for Truex. At least they took time to take some of the real estate on this car. You can see a very fine, and I mean extremely fine, it's almost like a spider web, but it's not. It's like a circle pattern that starts here, and it just, a whole bunch of like rings that just kind of go out to the side. Kind of reminds you of like a tree trunk, right? How you see rings and stuff like that. I got McDonald's there, TRD. I like the little red stripe they do right there. Got American Ethanol, Toyota on the B post, Moneyline, something else, 2311, and maybe Mac Tools. It's really hard to read the Kurt Busch name there. It's extremely small, which is unfortunate, but it is really cool to see the Jumpman logo there. That's pretty neat. That car is getting made, the Kansas win. I have seen it in the 1/64 scale. Let me tell you, it is incredible. It's going to be great for not only just collectors wanting a race-to-win diecast, but it's also clean enough that you can use it in your diecast stop motions from what I've seen. I got Moneyline there, Toyota, Moneyline. A whole bunch of financial cats on this one. TRD, Camry, 45. Got the black spoiler with those really cool pop rivet design. I'll go to the right side of this diecast here. I would say the green teal color, if you will, it's very medium tone. It's not bright. It's not too dark. Definitely the Brad Keselowski 2021 edition of this car was much brighter. But paint schemes change. It's a different manufacturer, a whole different car. Kind of expecting a drastic change in paint scheme. Let's go to the roof of the diecast. Got the number 45 there, which it is really cool to see the 45 back of the Cup Series. As a very, very big Winston Cup fan, just seeing, the Kyle Petty, the Adam Petty years, seeing that 45, and it's just really cool to see it back in the Cup Series, not just as a start and park or something, but as a full-time competitive entry in the sport. It's very nostalgic, and seeing it Bubba win at Kansas, and then Kurt Busch winning at Kansas in the 45, it's just something really cool to see the 45 back in victory lane. Now, I will admit, I'm not really a fan of this. This was just kind of, I understand, they're trying to be very hip and modern, but I just don't like this. This looks really goofy to me. You just have a random money line logo, but then you put the smallest one there. I get what they're trying to do, but it just doesn't look really clean to me. That's my honest opinion. Kurt Busch, and you have nothing on the deck lid, which just go figure. I mean, they could have put the little logo there and put money line up here. They could have done something, but unfortunately, they didn't. So, what is my favorite Kurt Busch memory, and what do I consider, the greatest moment of his career? Well, obviously he's a champion, right? He's a Daytona 500 champion, but my personal favorite moment of Kurt Busch's career is in 2003 when he finished second to Ricky Craven. A lot of drivers nowadays, when they finish second, they get out of the car and they're very upset. They blame everyone but themselves. They're very self-centered in that regard. There's so much on the line nowadays, with the playoffs and all that kind of stuff. A win is huge. But when Kurt Busch lost that Darlington race in 03, he got out of the car, he went to victory lane, and he pretty much congratulated Ricky Craven. He was ecstatic in his interview after the race. He was so happy to be a part of such a historic finish. Like, you could tell that 03 Darlington finish was something very special. Kurt Busch didn't sob in his post-race interview and act like, a sore loser. He was such a good sportsman about it. And I tell you what, in those years, he was very much a more aggressive, hothead driver, no doubt about it. But in that moment, he showed so much sportsmanship. It was incredible. And to me, that was my favorite moment of Kurt Busch's full-time career. The way he handled losing Darlington, it was exactly how a stock car driver should be. If you have a photo finish and you lose the race, get out of the car, go to victory lane, and shake the man's hand, and give him a laugh, because it was the greatest NASCAR race ever, the 03 Darlington race, which was the Carolina Dodge Dealers 400. If you have not watched that race, I cannot stress it enough. Flag-to-flag coverage. It is an incredible event. There's so much crashes, battle of attrition, and then, of course, the greatest finish in my opinion, NASCAR history. So that's my honest, favorite moment. What is your favorite moment? I mean, he's had so many awesome, memories in his Cup career. You go back to all the times when he was with Phoenix Racing and Furniture Row Racing, Stuart Haas Racing, Chip Ganassi Racing. I would say my favorite version of Kurt Busch as a driver was no doubt his Ganassi days. He was so much more mellow, and you could kind of sense he has changed a lot as a driver in a good way. And the way he handled himself outside of the car, I think, really made a lot of fans respect him. He was no longer considered to compare apples to oranges here, a villain or a heel of the sport. He was more or less a very popular and likable driver then. People stopped really ridiculing him for the things he was saying. So that was really cool. And I tell you what, man, this is a cool diecast, but if I had to be honest with you with the paint scheme, if I just disregard who the driver is and just say on the paint scheme, it's not that great. I'll be honest with you. I feel like there's a little bit they could have done better. Maybe see some... I don't know, maybe some type of shadowing, just something a little bit to me. No doubt about it. It's a really cool paint scheme at the same time. I'm going to give it a 9.2. But if you're in the market for one Kurt Busch car, I can't stress enough, get the Kansas win. It's like 9.9 out of 10 chances final Cup win ever, unless he comes back, which apparently he still wants to come back to do part-time racing if he's cleared. And I tell you what, if he does, watch out, because he's going to be in a fast car. Somewhere he'll find a very competitive ride. But I would get the Kansas win. It's the Jordan Jumpman car. I'm telling you, anything Jordan brand in NASCAR is pretty popular right now. And apparently that diecast was not going to get made. I think Denny Hamlin actually kind of tooted the horn, so to speak, to help get it made. So I tell you what, really cool to see that car get produced. I would recommend getting that one first over this one. This one will probably find its way in the Authentics line. I just can't see the Jumpman car getting in the Authentics line because, it's just... It's one thing to have a Jordan-sponsored car being sold in the Gold Series, and then it's a one thing to have it distributed in the Authentics line. I just feel like there's too many hoops to jump through. I don't know. Maybe I'm completely wrong. You never know. But let's see how that one shakes out. Thank you all again for watching. If you can, please give it a huge thumbs up, like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next NASCAR Diecast review. That's all for now, guys. Diecastbuffet. Signing off.